We are live. Hey, hey, Instagram world. Wanted to pop in here for about the next half hour with my good friend Miyoshi Taylor to share about God's love and what that means for you and me, and how his love is not divisive at all, and what that really means in the grand scheme of things, especially with what's going on in this hurting world. So I'm gonna pin this post, and once Miyoshi gets in, I'm actually gonna invite her in to really have her share alongside myself. And there she is. So let's pop her in right now. If you're hopping on live, then let us know. Just drop in a hello or give us some hearts if you are live. And it looks like she's on. What's going on, Miyoshi? Hi.
Hi, Monica. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see your beautiful face. Everyone meet
Oh,
Miyoshi. She is one of my most precious humans I've met, and is I'm so grateful to just call friend and almost like family. I am definitely She definitely is my family, and I just want her to come and share with you guys as well. You know, really what we're experiencing as far as putting God first in our life, and what it's really doing for us, especially in this world of a lot of, just judgment and a lot of just what's going on, just the pains that we're all experiencing together. And I think the key word here is together. But when we do it in a way that, we're sharing God's love and really putting him first and knowing that he is present in the midst of all this chaos, it really does bring about this sense of unexplainable peace, in our walks as we're figuring this all out together. So, hey, Mayoshi, what's going
hi,
on?
Monica. Oh man, you said it all right there. How we're able to do this together. And that's the thing, is that we've got to do this together. So I'm so glad to be here with you this evening.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Likewise. And I don't think
Yeah.
we've ever done an Instagram live. We've always been doing these. If you guys are hopping on live right now, by the way, on Instagram, super grateful to have you guys, because we've been doing this bi-weekly live on Facebook. So it's such a treat to just have our Instagram audience and friends chime in as well. So if you guys are, we'd love to see the hearts and see you guys pop in saying hello, because, you guys matter and we want to hear from you.
Exactly. We
Yeah.
want to hear your thoughts. We want to know what you're thinking. And hopefully, at the end of this, there can be a takeaway of someone thinking differently, having a different perspective of just each other, the world for the better. So please let us know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's been going on in your world? Um,
You know,
Busyness.
it's busyness, and I feel saddened. I feel really saddened with just everything that is going on in the world today, in our society, in our culture, in our communities. And it's a lot that is happening. And my prayers and my thoughts go out to every person that has been affected over the last, months. Granted, some of the situations that we have been going through has been years, but in the most recent time, I just feel really sad for a lot of the families that are going through certain things. And, I just want to just say or give my encouragement to just let everyone know that God's love will get us through, and that ultimately his love is not divisive. He is not a person that places anyone above anyone. And if we are working from a perspective of harsh or mean motives or an intent, um, it's not really working from the will of God. So I'm just hoping and encouraging people to just take a step back, check yourself, check
Mhm.
your own thoughts, check your own heart to see where you are at or how you may um, possibly fall into a category of not really living through God's will of what He intended for you to do.
Mhm. I love it. Yeah, and I mean, just this whole season of experiencing a lot of just division, just this worldly
Yeah.
division and a lot of judgment, a lot of just who's right and who's wrong, especially with this whole topic of just, racism and just divisiveness and people not understanding. Because at the end of the day, I think what we can all learn from this is no one's perfect. Like everyone, we're all humans, right? We're all conditioned. We're all susceptible to sin, and we're all like we're all sinners. And when we don't allow ourselves to just understand that and always make it seem like someone's in the wrong and while we're in the right, then that's where like how does that even matter at the end of the day? Like,
Right. Right. Because then it puts us in a place of as if you can judge
yes,
someone because you have had no sin,
exactly.
because of either the color of your skin or what your bank account statement
Yep.
says. That means that you have all the knowledge, all the wisdom, you know better than the next person.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, that should be sufficient enough for you to it's like I don't even have the words to say to fully
Yeah.
articulate myself. But it is, and Jesus said that himself of who has not sinned, you cast the first stone. And what's
Mm-hmm.
happening is that people are casting a lot of stones
Yes.
and they have other things in their closets that they're not expressing. Everyone has had not good times or portions in their life, who have not maybe been the best citizen, but that does not mean that their life is not precious or that their life doesn't matter. So it's just some really hard times right now. And I think with being in a place of social media and having digital videos and audio all the time being circulated,
Yeah.
it's a lot to
Yeah.
take in and process.
Yeah. And I definitely feel like if we do just end up um, putting our energy trying to just watch all of it, that can like definitely put like a weight in our hearts, and then it distracts us from really what we were supposed to be out here doing all along, which was sharing love, expressing compassion and kindness and empathy at the end of the day. Because at the end of it, that's really what matters, right? Is just the condition of our heart. Like, where is it focused on? Is it focused on blaming others? Is it focused on really like I don't like a lot of people are right now today from what I see, which is kind of like emotionally draining myself, is like the lack of empathy, the lack of compassion, the lack of just understanding we're not perfect creatures, and just blaming that if you're leaning on one side of like the political party, then you're this type of person. If you're leaning on the other side, then you're this type of person. When I know all like in deep in each of our cores as humans, what we crave for is love. We crave to matter. We crave that we are loved by God. We crave that, we're all like humans that just crave the same thing, not any of what the world created for us. Um, right. And
Yeah,
right now it's just almost just this delusion to keep us distracted from the end goal, which is God.
yeah. And to keep us divided,
Yeah. And
to
to keep us
always talk
distracted.
more about what our differences are
Yeah.
versus what we do have in
In
common.
common. Right.
Yeah. Because we're going to have differences. We're not going to all be the same.
Yeah.
We're not going to all look the same. We're not going to all have the same skin color. We're not going to have the same hair texture.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that one person is better or one person is worse. It's really about, can we connect?
Yes.
Do we think the same? Do we have the same thoughts? If not, hey, we may not be able to be close friends, but that doesn't mean that now
Yes.
your life isn't worth anything. Or
Right.
yeah, it's crazy. And in my original post, I did add a YouTube link for a song from Ty Tribbett called Work It Out. And although it's
Love it.
very up tempo type of a feel, it somehow mysteriously got deleted from my post. Don't know how that happened. But because usually when we have our sessions, I'll include a song,
Yeah.
to kind of go with the topic.
Yeah.
But the lyrical content of it is basically stating that despite whatever it is that we're going through, God will work it out. He
Mm-hmm.
will work it out of every circumstance. And I think that I wanted to share that song in regards to this particular topic because I do think that some people are relying just on their works, just on their efforts. And I'm not saying that people should not do that, but I am saying that before a person does something, says something, my unsolicited advice would be to make sure that you are consulting with God because in
Mm-hmm.
real life, we should be consulting with God all the time, every day, anyway
Yep.
anyway. So I just wanted to just say that because I know that the link wasn't there, but anybody that's listening, if you want to check out that song on YouTube, it's Ty Tribbett, and the song is called Work It Out.
Ty Tribbett. How do you spell it? I'm gonna put this here on the pinned link.
Yes, so it's Tye,
Uh-huh.
and then last name is spelled Tribbett,
Okay.
Tribbett,
Uh-huh.
and then it's called Work It Out. And it is an up-tempo gospel song, but I love it. I listen to it when I'm just around the house cleaning or just want to get my praise and worship going.
Yep.
But the lyrics they're still beautiful, even with the up-tempo song, is that despite what you are going through, God will work it out. And I think a lot of people are not taking time to consult with him.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, we have our own like personal testimonies and why we're sharing that this matters because, we've gone through our own sense of rock bottoms and our own challenges, and we did it without God in the equation. That didn't work too well for us, but once we did, break down, but then included him and reached up, he literally, we, our lives changed forever. And he can definitely change the condition of our hearts when we just lean into him first.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And I think if everyone were to just step back and check yourself, check yourself. Um, and if you are obedient to what it is that God is saying and what the Holy Spirit is saying, I do believe that we wouldn't have so much tragedy in the world. You
Absolutely.
know, if someone is doing something at a swimming pool and you don't like that or you're not or you're concerned if they're really a guest at this particular hotel, and if you're a God-fearing person, take a
Yep.
step back, think about, Lord, should I approach this person? What is the actual proper protocol at work? What should I do? But
Yeah.
that's for everyone in every field of their life, just that personal connection.
Yeah.
But I think that it does go to show that not everybody is as close to God as maybe what they say,
Yeah.
or
Right.
just not having a relationship with Him at all.
Mm-hmm.
And, I do believe that we do have an enemy that
Mm-hmm.
is in a spiritual realm. I do believe that the enemy, because he is a spirit being, is working through other people that are not connected and close to God, and that evilness is coming out in
Yeah.
certain demonstrations of actions and words.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I agree. It's it's not to say that because like we're sharing this with you we're any better or anything because we have, the God we have God in us. We're just sharing it with you because we we're humble enough to share that in spite of what, others may think, but we know that, it is it is the answer to
Mm-hmm.
this hurting world right now. And
Yeah.
when you share that, like when we're seeking him, that's really what prayer is. Like I think a lot of us you know, we tend to think of prayer as this whole, like, oh, please God, oh Father Almighty, please, like just talking to him in a way that is like almost these words, but it's not the heart condition that's talking to him. But that's what prayer is, when we're coming to him first, when we're talking to him as a friend, when we're leaning into wanting, you know, feedback from him and our intuition that he's sharing with us, right? It's talking to him throughout the day, not necessarily just because we're at church, we're at a building. You know, the church is not a building, it's, we are the church. And when we're coming together as truly prayers, like prayer warriors, and just like speaking to him, having a relationship with him, especially during this time, that's when he starts coming out before us and leading us and changing the condition of our hearts, not just posting posting things that we feel is right because our ego says, oh, let's post this because everyone's posting this, um, right, with just impulse, and just because we're almost like sheep following whatever anyone's posting. We need to come to him first for consultation and to see if that's really what he wants for us to share.
Right, right. And I'm kind of glad that you brought up that point, because on my own personal social media, I will definitely post certain things and add my own thoughts to it. I I try not to go so far in the sense of maybe what the situation was or
Mm-hmm.
what the facts were, because I'm not a community activist. I am not a preacher. I am not a Bible teacher. I have not gotten any level of education of that or credentials. But I do know that if I feel moved to say, you know what, I want to be able to speak
Mm-hmm.
this. You know, I am a Black woman. I am proud of who I am and my race. And I just want to be able to encourage someone, maybe without sharing in so many words, of saying that stand up in your own way, in your
Mm-hmm.
own right. But before you do it, pray on it.
Yeah.
Pray on what it is that you're saying. Pray on the fact of who's going to be watching you or listening to your words, because
Yes.
we all have a level of influence.
Yes.
And I don't want to steer anybody wrong on a situation.
Yeah.
But if I feel like, you know what, something is not right, then yeah, I will be able to express that on my own platform. But I do think that a lot of people are reckless.
Yeah.
They are reckless with their words. They are reckless online. Someone, you know, calls you a name and you're upset, and before you
Mm-hmm.
know it, you're typing all kind of threatening things to
Yeah.
people. And then you put your phone down and you go about your day as if you did not threaten someone just two
Yeah.
minutes ago.
Right.
Like, that is pouring into your spirit.
Right. It is.
And people are just being very nonchalant on things that are very serious.
Yeah.
And that is so concerning to me.
Yeah. It is. This has like been one of the most emotionally draining seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been so much with pandemic happening, with, you know, the crisis of people and what's going on with work and
Mm-hmm.
childcare, because that's stressful. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
going to take that off the table. And then with having such a large, racially charged climate that's
Mm-hmm.
currently happening and being documented all the time, it is a lot for the human race to take on at one time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I am just encouraging anybody that will stand to listen to my very unique voice, and to just be able to say, take a step back for yourself,
Yeah.
get connected with thine self, and consult with God when you feel mad.
Yeah.
I was reading this thing, and I cannot remember what it was or how long ago, but it had talked about how, and this is just an example of how the murder rate would go high in New York in the summertime. And they had talked about the spike of it being at that time of winter, or that time of season, because the heat made people irritable. So when a person is irritable, now they're quick to be frustrated. Now they're acting on a very quicker impulse. And before you know it, a life is taken when really the root cause of it was you're hot.
Crazy.
You needed to go somewhere with AC, eat a popsicle, and call it a day.
Yeah.
And I think that with everyone having to be forced to stay in the house, just life changed so quickly.
Right.
And when you talk about mental health, it affects everyone differently. I think all the different contributing factors being hit at one time is hitting everyone, literally, and everyone is acting out in different ways. But unfortunately, some of the ways that people are acting out is taking people's lives.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. That's fascinating. I mean, the facts that you just shared.
And that's why we got to consult with God, right?
Yeah,
because if I'm having a bad day and now I'm just like yelling all the time, okay, so what is the source of it? Am I really upset of this interaction that I'm having with someone?
Right.
Or is the real root cause is that I didn't get enough sleep last night? Or I need to eat some more. I'm feeling hangry.
Yeah.
And now it triggered something else in my mind. And now I've got an attitude all day.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's those little things. It is those little things that I don't think people are taking into consideration.
Yeah.
But in order to get there, that first step is get with God from the beginning of your day, throughout the day. Like you said, it doesn't have to be, oh, Father God, Lord in heaven, hear me cry. It doesn't have to hear my words.
Yeah.
And I think people do feel insecure about how to talk to God if they're not used to it.
Yeah.
When really it can be a conversation like this.
Yep.
Privately, you know, locked in your bathroom where no one is there, and just say, God, help me. I don't know what's wrong. Talk to me. Amen. You know, or I believe in your word. Please help me get through this day. It's the intent of your heart.
Yep.
It's not any of this, you know, woo type of a feel with praying. Everyone needs to get to God because God's love is not divisive.
Exactly.
And we've got too much division right now.
Yeah. And I think that especially as Christians who have received, like, you know, the what do you call it, who have received him already in our heart, I think he's calling us even more urgently just to share that little bit every, like, in our daily walks of life. Right now it's like urgent, like, but we still sometimes nonchalantly share it as if it's not. But I mean, with everything that's going on, more than ever, he's just like, okay, this is like a season where I kind of need you to double down on, you know, what I'm sharing with your heart without overthinking it. It may be scary because you can't please everyone at this point. But if I'm sharing this with you, then go out there with courage and faith, and I'll do the works.
That was in my daily devotional today, and that it really spoke to my heart because it did talk about not having to feel worried about being prepared. And I'll do it when I graduate from college. I'll do it when I look more slimmer in a video and people will accept me. It is really the idea of saying that if I gave you the word, share it. Share it. And even if it's over the phone with someone that you know or utilizing your platform, do it. And I agree with you. There is such a level of urgency of the good news, of the gospel, of what God says about you and not what someone else says about you.
Exactly.
You know, and it goes to everything, you know, whether it be your skin color or my nose being the size that it is. Listen, I have my insecurities. I don't love every inch about myself, but who I am to my core, I love me. God created me. And yes, I will get better, I think, as time goes on. But right now, he put a word in me, and I will share it. I
Yeah,
will share it.
exactly. I love it. Yeah, I love it. And the power just lies in our tongue at the end of the day, too. We have to be very, uh-oh, am I getting cut out? Oh, sorry. It was getting a little bit choppy. Okay, yeah. So I love it. So the power lies in our tongue as well. So I mean, especially now more than ever, condemning others for not doing something or doing something, or just because they're leaning, towards one side of like the political, like game or whatever. It doesn't mean you're a racist. You don't have to call people out. Like we have to be very intentional with what our heart condition is going out and saying, because at the end of the day, when we're speaking that, it's life or death. So every day, like I'm just praying to God that like whatever I share is what he wants to do to make this world better at the end of the day, to lead everyone to him.
Yeah, I
It's
agree. I agree.
There's so much hatred right now. It's almost scary. Like where did it come out from? Like yes, like it's been years like since racism and the blacks, but I feel like it's it's not helping Black people, because at the end of the day we're trying to help them get back to our hearts together, and it pains me to see that it's causing more divisiveness and
Yeah.
judgment.
And I do believe that the harsh reality is that it will forever be here.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I mean, and that's even going back to Bible days.
Yeah.
If you're from this town or this city, then now I have to try to take over you. Um, but I say that only from the perspective of, because there is good and evil,
Yeah.
right? The yin and the yang. There's always going to be a level of evilness and wickedness that's going to be here on this earth.
Uh-huh.
I mean, just
True.
even thinking about the black market alone,
Yeah.
there are a lot of underground things that are
Yep.
just wicked, wicked. Um, that is happening. That is happening. Innocent people going through situations, innocent children.
Yeah.
I mean, children that are subject to things that are just beyond me. And it's scary, it's sad, it is such a high level of unfortunateness that is here. And I think that this is why God says, okay, once you've accepted me,
Mm-hmm.
now you got to grab as many people as you can.
Yes.
Because what we want to do is create an army, and even in the spiritual realm, to try to overcome what is happening
Yeah.
here on earth.
Yeah.
And then it becomes challenging, because now when you become a person to bear witness, you have to also keep yourself in check to still be an encourager,
Yes.
right? Like, it's hard for me to tell someone, girl, don't eat all those candy bars. And here I go, popping my
Yep.
Hershey Kisses. And listen, and that's why I don't talk to anyone about weight loss or anything. Because listen, I have my struggles, right? It would hurt my witness to tell somebody not to do something, and here I am doing it.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's about checking yourself,
Yep.
getting with God. Hey God, I'm still struggling with this area. Can you help me with it? But while you're still dealing with me on this area, is there something that you want me to share about another part of my life that maybe I can help somebody with? And
Yeah.
that's the check-in.
Yeah.
I can't minister to everyone about everything, because I
Yeah.
have not yet arrived. I am
Right.
still learning.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell everyone, as a disclaimer,
Yep.
I'm not a Bible teacher. I'm not a minister.
Yeah.
I don't have any level of degree or credentials. That's
Yeah.
why on my website, the very first thing that you see on my website on the bottom is no degrees, no license. I'm just passionate to serve. You
Yeah.
know,
I
I'm
love
just
it.
giving you what I got. I'm giving you what I got.
I love it. Yeah. That's
And
beautiful.
it's love.
It is
Right? What I
exactly.
got is love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all that
Love.
I have is love, my experience,
Yep.
and maybe what God tells me. And if He tells me to say it, hey, I'll say it.
Yeah. Exactly. We always have to check our humble meter too. Like, he's the one that transformed our hearts. Other people might not be at a chapter that we're at, and we have to just realize at the end of the day we were there too. So, who are you to cast judgment on the next person when I'm doing my work in them too? Just because they're not at your level of spiritual maturity doesn't mean they're like bad people or they're to be judged. Like, you have to check your humility meter all the time with him.
I agree with that. So we're not doing it out of ego. So we're not
Exactly.
doing it out of, well, I know the information
Yep.
and you don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So now you really didn't help someone
Yeah.
because you came out with such arrogance, like you
Exactly.
know it all,
Yeah.
and you were not able to really properly witness to
Right.
them, to
Yeah.
share with them the good news.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to say on that is that yes, we take the time to consult with God and share whatever it is that is on our heart to share, you know, with God's permission, but also to whatever practical things that you are also required to do,
Mm-hmm.
a person should do that too.
Yep.
So
Oh
like
yeah.
if you yeah, so like if you see something that's just not right and you feel like, "Oh yeah, man, that's not right." Okay, but did God also tell you to do something about it?
Yeah.
Did God tell you to either post on your social media? Did
Yep.
God tell you to call the district attorney's office to file a
Yep.
complaint? It's the idea of still being able to do those practical things
Mm-hmm.
while you're still working with the Spirit. And I feel like that's what I'm doing in my own personal life and my own personal walk with God, that if I'm hearing of a situation or if I witnessed a situation
Mm-hmm.
and if something's not right and I get with him, then I vocalize it in a certain way that I feel like he said is okay for me to do. And then I'll do that extra step to be like, hey, you know, here's a situation, sign the petition.
Yep.
It's as easy as just signing a
Yep.
petition, but signing your name is making a statement that you agree with
Exactly.
other people to say that this isn't right.
Yeah.
Or, hey, let me call this particular district attorney's office, because if you get a certain amount of calls from a certain office, that is filing a formal complaint of a certain situation.
Right.
And a lot of people feel like their voice doesn't matter. A lot of people feel like when it's time to go out and vote that they won't vote because their voice doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's voices
Oh
matter.
yeah.
Of course, everyone's lives matter, but at the same time, if there is either a group of people or a certain situation where people are being picked out of a crowd,
Uh-huh.
you know, here is where it's okay to take that extra step to consult with God and, okay, well, what can I do? I may not be able to go out and maybe protest. I may not be able to go out and rally. I may not be able to physically do something, but you
Mm-hmm.
can practically do
Yeah.
something of whatever that is, but
Exactly.
get with God first. Make sure that it's done with love, that we're not still sharing that hate that may
Yeah.
come from the other side, because we
Yeah.
don't operate like that.
Yeah.
You can be angry, you can be mad. I'm with that because
Yeah.
I feel angry. I feel mad on things too, but I know I can't always do what I think I want to do.
Yeah.
I know that. I do know that.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people think it needs to be this like big leap of something, but I truly believe that in any areas of your life, it's the marginal things that we do every single day that will lead to progression of something. Like just by ourselves, yes, we can't change the world, but that ripple from your action or obedience can truly like make that ripple towards the next piece of impact that you can make.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Everyone can do something. That's the thing, is that everyone can do something, right? And I know people are used to us doing the rise ups of you can do it, you
Yeah.
can do whatever you want to do, you can live life, you can be this great entrepreneur,
Yeah.
you can accomplish whatever business goal you want to do. That's the same rule for personal.
Yeah.
That's the same rule for your spiritual life and your
Yeah.
spiritual walk.
Yes.
That's the same thing for your family.
Yep.
Like, it's the same. It's the same principles. It's just applied in another portion
Yeah.
of your life. And I
Exactly.
think that people stop, like how you said, like, they feel like church is at a location. So if they don't go to a certain location, then now I can't praise God. No, no,
Mm-hmm.
no. You are the church.
Yes.
I praise God in my family room all the time.
Yeah.
Me and my children, whether it be just listening to gospel music and we dance around, or
Uh-huh.
we'll listen to a sermon on YouTube.
Right.
We are the
We are.
church.
Yep.
We are the church, and we have power. We have power. But if
Yeah.
a person doesn't believe they have it,
Mm-hmm.
they will never be able to really demonstrate it because they've already cut it off
Yep.
by thinking that they don't got it.
Exactly. It's that
So you
minor
guys
tweak.
have it.
Yep.
Yeah. Recalibrate the thought, recalibrate your thinking, recalibrate your heart.
Yeah.
You are a powerful individual. And yes, you can make it in life. You can make it in your business. You will have a beautiful and flourishing family. But your family has to live in this society. Your family has to
Yep.
communicate with other people in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't stop with just the walls. But it can start there.
Mm-hmm.
So at least if you can at least start there, that that's at least the goal during this dialogue if a person hasn't done that thus far.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the world has gotten much smaller, like the palm of our hands, like literally just about being more resourceful. Consulting first with him, but just using the resources that we have inside our homes to make shift happen. Shift with an F.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And granted, right, at the very same time, and yes, playing devil's advocate is that on the flip side, a person who may be sharing not so great loving things or
Uh-huh.
sharing not great values is being shared in their household as well with their other little
Oh,
humans
yeah.
that's growing up. So that's that yin and
So
yang
true.
that we're talking about. But to override that, keep your household in check.
Oh,
Make
yeah.
sure that they know, hey, we belong to the Most High,
Yeah.
and we don't stoop to a low level. We don't say things that's not nice. We don't say things that are mean. Everyone is beautiful. Everyone has great things to offer.
Yeah.
It's the high vibrational things.
Yeah. So true. And it literally, like, that's where we can actually start is in our home, our own home, the values that we share with our own kids. Because when
Yeah.
we're not here anymore, I mean, they're the ones that are going to inherit our legacy or our crap. They have to learn that stuff.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, it's challenging. It's hard because it still goes back to checking
Yeah.
yourself.
Yep.
I know I can't just say and do whatever it is I want to do. Now, granted, I've got the freedom, I've got that free will, but I know that if I do something out of that quick response impulse, that's going to have a lasting impression on little impressionable humans.
Yeah.
And I refer to my children as either humans or little heartbeats.
Yeah.
And that's only because they are. They are, it's a young woman and a young man in training.
Dude.
And what I do with them at age 6 and age 3 is what is going to carry them for the rest of their lives. How many stories have we heard of adults that go through mental breakdowns or very toxic situations because of childhood?
Yeah.
Because of childhood. So I am trying my best to ensure that my baggage stops with me and that I give it to God as that sacrifice so it does not go to my grandchildren.
Yeah.
Not even just to my kids, but to my grandchildren.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
You know, I've been disrespected. I've had people not call me nice names, and I've had people not be nice to me, and I want to tell them a thing or two about themselves. But I know that certain things I can't do. I just know that I have to be like, you know what, I'll take that L. You know, I'm this name, or you perceive me as this. Hey, man, you know, like Eminem, I am whatever you say I am.
Yeah.
And even though it's not true, it's just the idea that I got to let you think whatever it is.
Right.
Because it wastes my time. It wastes my energy to get down on your low frequency level to try to prove something.
Yeah. I always tell my son that too. Like, don't give anyone your power because of what they say, like, about you. You, like, literally when you receive it and you react to it, that's your power that you're giving to them. I mean, like, well, maybe we'll wallow in it for a second, but don't allow that to become your identity because of what one person said. And I learned that from Les Brown. I know you follow him too, but, you know, he's been mocked at and called all these things, but he chose to take the higher road to not allow it to redefine who God told him he was. And now look at him inspiring the masses. That's what we have is potential for ourselves too, if we allow, like, our struggles and our pains to be a part of our purpose. That's why they say convert our pains into something positive and purposeful.
Pain into purpose. Our first one that we did together. Pain into purpose.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
And just last night, I was watching this motivational clip, and it was featuring Oprah. And it had talked about some of her early struggles in life. And she had talked about how she had to find things about herself to appreciate about herself. Because the world, you know, immediate family, people in the outside world were always speaking things that were very negative and hurtful to her. And she said that she knew that if she would have believed them, that she would not be where she is today.
Wow.
So even if there were some truths about what it is that they were saying, it was the idea that she maximized her thoughts on what it is that she did like about herself to override maybe what was right. Like, maybe I may not be that pretty. Okay, you're right. But you know what? I'm a great speaker. You know what? I got good cheekbones. You know, not everyone can say they got the cheekbone. It's about appreciating what it is that you do have. And that level of envy will eventually go away. And then now you're able to really focus on what God called you to do. Because if you get wrapped up on maybe the things that are not that right about you, now you're not able to do the things that you were meant to do.
So true. Oh my gosh. That's powerful. Especially
And
with,
like,
yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to just say that because people talked about the way that she looked. If she would have believed them and felt bad about it, she would have never been able to have the platform of television to do the things that she's doing now, which is helping everyone.
Wow.
And that was the thing, that the very thing that people said that they didn't like was the very thing that God used to usher in his plan. So I
Wow.
just wanted to just say that she felt insecure about how she looked, but God said, well, that's the point. I
Wow.
want people to see you differently, because now anybody can look like anything and they will know that they can succeed and fulfill their dreams based on what's inside of them and not their outer shell.
I
So
love
I
it.
just had to say that. I had to say that.
No, that's powerful. I mean, if anyone took anything away from today, that's the truth. Like whatever pains that we're going through or the lack of what we think we have, maybe that lack, you ought to look at it in a magnifying glass to see that might be your purpose. Like there's a hidden opportunity in that for you to shine your light. Wow. That's
It's
so
true.
powerful.
It's so true.
I love that. That's
Imagine how many more like businesses would flourish, how many more friendships
dude.
would flourish, how many more beautiful families being created if we saw the things as what we have in common. Or yeah, maybe I lack something that you have, but I embrace you for who you are and you can
Yeah.
embrace me for who I am. Like, how much more
Oh my
greatness
gosh.
of the world we could be if we saw that
That's
versus
harmonious. Oh
seeing.
my gosh.
Yes, yes. It blows my
Beautiful.
mind. It blows my mind.
Wow. Yeah. If we just stop, and it's hard because of social media and all this to be easily stuck in comparing ourselves to the journey of others and whatever others have. Like we need to almost derail ourselves from that because it's easy to, but if we can become self-aware enough to catch ourselves, like it's all about emotional intelligence at the end of the day and seeing like, okay, what's triggering me to think these, and then come back to the truth of what God is sharing, that message that you just shared.
Yes,
Wow.
yes. Because it goes back.
Yeah.
It goes back. And even if it is the title or the issue of racism specifically,
Mm-hmm.
where did it come from for you?
Mm-hmm.
Did you grow up in that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but now that you're an adult now, how do you
Mm-hmm.
think?
Right.
How do you feel today as an adult? Do you mean to tell
Right.
me that if you go to the doctor's office and your doctor is a person of color, but they got the same education that they needed to treat your issue and your medical condition, you're saying that you won't go to him
Yeah.
or go to her?
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
it's challenge yourself today. Like sometimes we can't help how we grew up. I get it. You
Yeah.
can't help when you're a little kid and you're growing up and how you're growing up.
Yeah.
But today in life,
Yeah.
how is that possible? How can you be a teacher or educator and you see your students that are a different color and you don't have the same love for them? That
Yeah.
is a problem.
Yeah.
That is a problem.
Yep. So true.
Because they're all kids. They don't know any better. They're looking at you as one of a place for safe haven.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
because you already have a biased
Yeah.
perspective, then you should not be in that field.
Yeah.
You should not be teaching our children in the community. And, and that's just one example out of many examples of certain community members that has a very strong bias of people in a community in which they live in service.
Yeah.
That is a problem. That
Wow.
is really an issue.
Yeah.
It's concerning. It's
It is.
concerning.
And at the end of the day, it's the condition of their heart. I mean, I've experienced it. growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. I mean, I even had a peer. I was like maybe the third grade, and I had a friend who was a Caucasian boy, and we got into an argument about something, cannot remember. And the school that I went to did not have a lot of black students. So it was like a handful of people who looked like me. And towards the end of the argument, his statement was, at least I wasn't a slave. And at that time, my feelings were hurt. Like I immediately felt offense.
Yeah.
But I didn't really understand what he meant by that statement because I was so young, I didn't get it. I didn't understand behind the scenes why it made it so hurtful. And so, that was a tough conversation to have at home about my ancestors and what that meant in regards to that statement. And it opened up my mind and my eyes to another level of how the world is.
Mm-hmm.
And for it to be so young, for him to make a statement like that as an adult now looking back,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, you've heard that before.
Yeah.
You were in the midst of that before. Because third grade, I can't even remember what that age is. That's probably like 9, 10.
Yeah.
It's like, what 10-year-old do I know that proactively brings up race in a dialogue?
Yeah.
To say it in a hurtful, derogatory way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been there. I've been there.
Yep. It's painful. That's why I think now more than ever we have to change that be a part of changing family branches.
Yeah.
It's man.
Yeah. I know this topic is not the usual ones that we do. I know people are catching another side to the both of us. And I think rightfully so, at least for this particular time and moment.
Yeah.
And, the next session, they're going to catch another side to us of it being back to, hey, businessman, this is what you should do. This is how you should get it going.
Yeah.
But it's just too much happening in the world for us to not address it.
Totally.
The way that we wanted to. And I'm glad that we were able to do this.
Yep.
And, I apologize in advance that I'm not as jolly and chipper as I usually am.
Yeah.
But, it's hard times right now. It's hard times.
It is. Just all these components of grace, empathy with ourselves too, and just kind of understanding that this world is going through like a revolution and evolution in and of itself.
Yeah.
We just have to adapt to it in a way that is helping each other through God.
Yeah, I agree.
This was definitely.
So next time, you guys, when you hear from us and see us, we're gonna be back on the business tip. Just know that there was no way that we could meet today and not address it.
Oh my gosh, totally.
Yeah. And you're so beautiful. You're so radiant.
Oh my God.
I have to say that too.
Who are you? It's just the sunset. That's cool.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
It's great.
Yeah. So if you guys are going to be catching the replay, let us know what your takeaway was, thoughts and everything. But it was such a treat to just pop in here, in July. We're in July 1st now. So I'm sure a lot of things are going to be changing over the next couple of months. So be prepared to roll with the punches and embrace, the journey. So we're very grateful for you all.
Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.
We'll
Catch
see you
me on
next time.
IG, one
Oh, yes.
Miyoshi, and website miyoshibloom.vistaprintdigital.com. Like I said earlier before, no degrees, no license, just passionate to serve people. So if you want to just check out to see what I've got, go ahead and leave me a message.
Yep, awesome. And if you're looking to, you know, grow into your introverted skills with entrepreneurship, I do have a free download as well. If you want to go to introvertedmillionaire.com, it's just millionaire mindsets for introverts who are wanting to seek, you know, more confidence and gain the skills, long-lasting skills and confidence to grow in your business and your life. Introvertedmillionaire.com, free download. So. It was awesome to be here, and I think we're gonna continue on the phone if you have time. Otherwise, we can just chime in later. So,
Oh no, I'm talking to you, honey.
okay, awesome. I'll see you on the phone then. Oh, where'd she go? All right, we'll see you guys.
Oh,
Okay, there you are again.
yeah.
Guys, God bless and make this July and the rest of 2020 purposeful and live on purpose. All right, take care.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.